Rob.
Hello everyone and welcome to Rob's Rogues and the BatmanUniverse.net. Today we're taking a look at the DC Comics Designer Series, the Jay Lee series. It is Batman Superman series. This was one, I think it might have been almost a year ago, last San Diego Comic-Con, not the one that has just happened for 2015, but I think it was 2014. We saw the very first images of the Jay Lee Batman Superman action figure series from DC Collectibles, and his art is absolutely amazing. His very first run in the Batman Superman title just had that really eerie look to his panel layouts and the way that he was drawing Batman and Superman and the other supporting characters, and taking a little bit of liberties of the New 52 costumes a little bit, and just how he approached drawing them. Made for some really dynamic, I wouldn't say dynamic, just eerie looking images, and I will put up some images so you can kind of see them. But this is the first figure. Obviously it's Batman. I think I'm going to pick up the whole entire set. I did pick this up during my trip to Buffalo, New York for ODC's wedding. Olivia Automatica herself was with me when I picked this up, along with Todd and my wife. The four of us were kind of putzing around Buffalo, New York before the wedding. Just a really beautiful looking figure. So here's the box art. It's pretty much the same for all of the DC figures that have been coming out recently. Batman down the side, figure number 1. And we have the beautiful artwork from Jay Lee himself right there on the side of it, showing Batman. It says Designer Series, Batman Collectibles DC 1. And the other figures that come in this set are Batman. Figure 2 is Wonder Woman. Figure 3 is Superman. And Figure 4 is Catwoman. And these are all sculpted by Jonathan Matthews. And Matthews did a really good job of capturing the look of Jay Lee's art, and I saw this whole entire wave in 2 different places as we were kind of going around Buffalo and then a return trip home, and they all look fantastic. Initially I thought, okay, I'll get Batman and Superman definitely. I was really leaning towards Catwoman, and then I thought, well, maybe Wonder Woman too. But seeing her in person, she looks fantastic herself. So enough blathering. Let's get this guy out of package. I cannot wait to get a closer look at the Jay Lee Designer Series from DC Collectibles. We will be right back. All right, we got the Jay Lee Batman out of package, and wow, I just love this figure. I love the sculpting of the figure. The detail that is in this, it really captures the mood of the Jay Lee Batman Superman comic. Initially, it was a comic series that, just reading the very first issue, I didn't quite know what to make of the story that Greg Pak was writing, but as the issues went on, I just got so captivated by the artwork, and then eventually the story did just really start to come alive with the help of Jay Lee's art. He's now kind of just been doing covers for the Batman Superman comic. And I don't know if it's because of the way that he works, but the comic was starting to suffer as far as the time that it took for him to do it. So you may get 1 or 2 issues with him, and then you'd get a fill-in artist, then 2 or 3 more issues, then another fill-in artist. So, but the issues that we do have of him on the comic series are great. He just recently did an Injustice Gods Among Us cover with Batman and Robin Damian fighting each other. I haven't edited all this together yet, so I believe, if I remember correctly, that those images of Jay Lee's art are going to be in there right after the unboxing, so I hope I remembered. If not, comment and say, hey Rob, you forgot to do that. Let's get a closer look at this figure. Just a great, great looking sculpt. Now, right away, some people have said they do not like the lips. Depending on where the comic images are, this is right on par with how Jay Lee draws his facial features. So maybe in a 3D format, or 4D, or real D, whatever you want to call it, in an actual physical item here, maybe it doesn't come off as nice as it does in the comics, but that being said, I think it does. Let's see if I can get even closer here. Just the detailing, even in the nostrils of a Batman, which we don't talk a lot about in action figures. Even as I'm bouncing all around here, I apologize. Even the scalloping lines up in here, or the panel lines in and around the brow are great. In the eye sockets, you can tell that Batman is really squinting here a little bit, but not so much that you don't see, the whites of the eye. The jawline is great. The detail, see a little bit of fuzz here when we get super close. Just the way the neck is sculpted here, it's really good. Jay Lee's take on the bat symbol, which is very Batman Beyond-ish. He just took away two of the points right here and here, just kind of streamlined it a little bit more, but just the detail, you can see the God, I'm losing my train of thought just by looking at this. You can see the sculpting lines that are in here are just done so very well. And you can see the deep panel lines that are in the suit. I know I'm up really close on it. The utility belt is not the standard new 52 belt. This is more of like the 70s Batman belt, but more simplistic in his designs for Batman and Superman, but still very much new 52 or more modern. You can see the sculpting in of where the trunks would be down on the knees. He did keep the bat on the knee guards right there, really cool. Sculpting down into the boots are excellent. One of my favorite parts, we could take a look at this, is the cape. I don't think that they have done the interiors on a cape since the Damian Wayne Robin figure from the Batman Incorporated line. He had a lot of sculpting in his cape, and most of the other capes just show wrinkles, but this is actually showing texture in the cape, which I think is really, really cool. Batman has one peg hole. The back of these capes, I think, is borderline breathtaking. Batman's cape looks really, really good. I do think, without a doubt, Superman does have the best cape out of this series. It looks like it's frozen in time the way the wind is blowing in Superman's cape, but you can just see the texture in the cape here. Again, I'm going to zoom in close here. I love the texture detail in this cape. You can see just the folds and the creases. This might be one of my new favorite figures. Even just the folds and the creases on the back part of the cowl and the back part of the neck are just outstanding. What a great line. I told myself, oh, I'm only going to get Superman and Batman. But hanging out with Todd and Olivia, we got to see all of them in person. You can kind of see I have a little bit of imperfection right there. Looks like a little bit of a scuff mark. I wonder if that, yeah. It looks like I have a tiny little piece missing. I didn't notice it before playing with it. Maybe just part of the mold broke free. But again, we're really, really close on it. Of course, now that I'm seeing it, I can really notice it. It's my only flaw. Pardon me about that. Come on, focus here. Of course, you're not going to focus. There we go. It's the only flaw that I really see. Now is where I'm really kind of fixated on it. I'd like to think this would come off. Of course, I'll probably cause more damage to it. But aside from that little QC thing, just a really, really good looking figure. Apologize, I fixated on that a little bit, but I was just going to say a flawless figure. But what I was saying was Todd and Olivia and I got kind of a firsthand look at all of them, and they were just all four of them were really good. So I'm definitely going to be picking up this whole wave. Let's get onto the articulation of this guy, and he's got some really good articulation. He's only missing a couple bits of articulation that I would have liked to have seen him have, but I kind of maybe understand why they didn't. So his head was on a nice ball joint, really good. He can almost look up all the way. Can do the tilt side to side, has nice fluid motion left and right. Arms are really stiff. They go up almost to a full 90 degrees. So that's pretty cool. You can kind of recreate the look of on Batman and Superman 1 where he's got his, cape kind of up like this. So the arms go all the way around. There is no bicep swivel, and this is one of the pieces of articulation that I was like, I'm kind of disappointed there's no bicep swivel, but it's a nice clean arm here, so you don't have the break in the sculpt, which is maybe that's why they did that. Single bend at the elbow, and lately we've been getting a lot of double jointed, so I was kind of a little taken aback by they didn't do that, but again, maybe it's for sculpting. There is a wrist or a gauntlet rotation here. I was going to say the other night that there was none once I got him out of package. He doesn't have any accessories. He has two closed fists. With all the accessories that we've got from Arkham figures to any Batman figure, I would at least like one open fist, so I could put a batarang or a grapnel gun or something in there, but two closed fists, no ab crunch and no waist swivel. I think that is due to wanting to preserve the sculpting of the figure. I think if nothing else, I'm okay with the ab crunch not being there, but I think they could have hid the waist swivel in here so you could have at least turned Batman. Legs go forward about that far. Back quite a bit actually. There is the new Batman animated series T-jointed hips. So they found a way that they can do the cut in for the hip and the leg. I would think they could do it up here or even the ab crunch here. If you can kind of conceal it that you don't break it up too bad right here, that's not horrible. So I think they could have at least had the waist swivel there. There's an upper thigh cut, single bend at the knee. I think with Batman's shin guard here, you could have easily had a double jointed knee in this figure. There is no boot rotation the way the boot is sculpted. The boot is sculpted here, and I was playing around with it, and I thought, well, maybe they hit it, but they did not, and no ankle. So he does have a good amount of articulation, but he's kind of missing some of the standard bits of articulation. He's a little wonky in standing. You kind of got to get him lunged just right, but a really, really good figure. So I don't have the other figures from the wave to compare him with, but what I would like to do is bring up all the new 52 Batmen that we currently have, and it's actually, even though the Justice League Batman was technically not a designer series, it is designed after Jim Lee's. So technically we've got a Jim Lee, a Jay Lee, and a Greg Capullo. Let's bring up all the Batman and see what they look like together. All right, here are the new 52 Batmen that we've received so far. Of course, there has been a variant to this Batman, which I do have. It's the metallic version of this. But basically, it's the Jim Lee Batman from the new 52 Justice League single carded figure, or the 7-pack, which this is where this guy came from. Then we have the Greg Capullo artist series, which was the very first artist series, technically, from the new 52, and then the Jay Lee. All three of them look very cool together, and they are also very different, being done by or taken after from different artists' takes on the character. And I brought this guy up too. He has been one of my favorite Batman, the Earth 2, so technically he is a new 52 Batman as well. So it's been quite a good year if you're a Batman collector to get 4 very different Batmen. And of course there's the 0-year Batman, which I didn't have up here. Just wanted to bring like the standard Batman figures up here from DC Collectibles. Final thoughts on this guy. I absolutely love this figure. It is a very stylized version. You saw all of the other Batman figures up here, and they all are very different from each other, but just kind of representing the different artist takes on it. But I think this has been the most drastic interpretation of Batman in action figure form in a while. This may not be for everybody, but I really do like the sculpt of this figure. Aside from, you know, it's supposed to have the windblown look where it doesn't really look like he's wearing a cape in here the way they have this offset back, but I just think it's executed very well. They look dynamic. You can kind of get them in a pose and it looks like they're sort of in motion. That's why the capes are given that wind-blown look, and they're just done so well. And this one really represents Jay Lee's art style. So today we've been taking a look at the Batman Superman Batman figure. This is figure number 1 from the Jay Lee designer series. Definitely pick this up if you like the Jay Lee comic. If you're a Batman fan, I think you're really going to enjoy this. And as always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogues and the BatmanUniverse.net signing off, saying we will see you guys next time.